You know, if you're like most people hitting 60 and beyond, you've probably noticed something interesting happening with your sleep. Maybe you're waking up at 5 in the morning feeling surprisingly alert, or you're finding yourself wide awake at 2 a.m., wondering what on earth you're supposed to do with all this extra time. Here's the thing, though. This isn't necessarily a problem that needs fixing. What if I told you that sleeping less could actually be an opportunity to enrich your life in ways you never imagined? Instead of lying there frustrated, staring at the ceiling, there are some wonderful things you can do with those extra hours that will make you feel more energized, fulfilled, and purposeful than ever before. The first thing you might want to consider is using this time to reconnect with your body through gentle movement. I'm not talking about jumping into an intense workout routine at 3 in the morning. That would be counterproductive and potentially wake up the entire household. Instead, think about those quiet moments as an invitation to stretch, breathe, and move in ways that feel nurturing and peaceful. Picture this. You're awake at dawn, the house is still, and there's something almost magical about having the world to yourself. This is the perfect time for some gentle yoga stretches right there in your bedroom, or even just sitting on the edge of your bed and doing some simple neck rolls and shoulder shrugs. Your body has been lying still for hours, and these small movements can work wonders for releasing any stiffness that's accumulated overnight. I remember talking to Martha, a delightful 68-year-old who discovered that her early morning wake-ups were actually a gift. She started doing Tai Chi in her living room while watching the sunrise through her window. She told me it became the most peaceful part of her day, and she actually looked forward to waking up early because it meant she got to have this special time with herself. The gentle movements helped her feel more balanced and centered throughout the day, and the mindful breathing actually improved her energy levels significantly. You don't need any special equipment or training for this. Simple stretches like reaching your arms overhead, gentle spinal twists while seated, or even just taking deep breaths while focusing on different parts of your body can make a tremendous difference. The key is to listen to what your body needs and honor that. Some mornings you might feel like doing more dynamic stretches. Other times, just gentle breathing exercises will feel perfect. The beauty of this approach is that you're not fighting against your body's natural rhythms. You're working with them. Your body is telling you it's ready to be awake, so instead of lying there frustrated, you're giving it gentle, loving attention. This can actually help regulate your sleep patterns naturally over time, and you'll likely find that you feel more rested during the day, even if you're getting fewer hours of sleep. Now, once you've taken care of your physical well-being, this is also an incredible opportunity to dive into creative pursuits that might have been sitting on the back burner for years. Think about it. When was the last time you had uninterrupted time to pursue something purely for the joy of it? Those quiet hours when the phone isn't ringing and nobody needs anything from you are absolutely precious for creativity. Maybe you've always wanted to try watercolor painting, or perhaps you used to love writing but life got in the way. This could be your chance to rediscover those passions. I know a gentleman named Robert who started waking up at 4 a.m. and decided to use that time to write the family history he'd been meaning to document for decades. He'd sit at his kitchen table with a cup of coffee, and slowly but surely he created this beautiful legacy for his grandchildren. He told me that those quiet morning hours became so productive and fulfilling that he wouldn't trade them for anything. The wonderful thing about creative activities during these peaceful hours is that there's no pressure, no deadlines, and no one else's opinions to consider. You can explore drawing, try your hand at poetry, work on a craft project, or even learn to play a musical instrument. Many people find that their minds are incredibly clear and focused during these early morning or late evening hours, making it an ideal time for creative expression. Consider setting up a small creative space somewhere in your home, maybe a corner of the dining room table with art supplies, or a comfortable chair with good lighting and a notebook. Having everything ready means you can ease into your creative time without any barriers or excuses. The key is to approach it with curiosity and playfulness, rather than putting pressure on yourself to create something perfect. These creative pursuits can be incredibly fulfilling and give you a sense of accomplishment that carries through your entire day. Plus, you might be surprised at what you discover about yourself when you have the time and space to explore without distractions. Another beautiful way to use these extra waking hours is to nurture the relationships that matter most to you. You know, as we get older, we often realize that the quality of our connections with others becomes infinitely more precious than the quantity of things we own or accomplish. Those quiet morning hours or peaceful evening times can become wonderful opportunities to reach out and strengthen bonds with family and friends. Think about it. When you're up early, you might be awake at the same time as loved ones who live in different time zones. That daughter who moved across the country for work, or the old college friend who retired to Florida. This could be the perfect time to give them a call or send a thoughtful text message. There's something special about connecting with people during these unhurried moments when you have their full attention and they have yours. I met a wonderful woman named Grace who discovered that her 5 a.m. wake-up calls were actually the perfect time to video chat with her grandson who was studying abroad in London. What started as her trying to figure out what to do with her sleepless mornings turned into a cherished weekly ritual where they'd share coffee together virtually, her morning coffee and his afternoon tea. She told me it became one of the highlights of both of their weeks, and their relationship grew stronger than it had ever been. You might also consider using this time to write letters. Yes, actual handwritten letters. In our digital age, receiving a handwritten note has become such a rare and precious gift. You could write to grandchildren, old friends, or even family members who live nearby, but whom you don't get to see as often as you'd like. There's something therapeutic about putting pen to paper and taking the time to really express your thoughts and feelings without the rush and brevity that comes with quick text messages or emails. Another lovely way to connect is through small acts of kindness and service. Maybe you could use some of those extra hours to prepare a meal for a neighbor who's been struggling with health issues, or to organize photos to share with family members, or even to research and plan surprise activities for your grandchildren. These acts of love and service not only strengthen your relationships, but also give you a tremendous sense of purpose and fulfillment. The key is to approach these connections with intention and presence. When you're not rushing to get somewhere or dealing with the demands of a busy day, you can truly be present with the people you care about. This quality time often leads to deeper, more meaningful conversations and stronger emotional bonds. Moving into another realm entirely, those extra waking hours present an incredible opportunity to become a lifelong learner in ways that can truly ignite your passion and curiosity. Your brain is remarkably adaptable at any age, and engaging in learning new things can actually help keep your mind sharp and engaged while providing tremendous satisfaction and joy. Consider this your chance to explore subjects that have always fascinated you, but that you never had time to pursue. Maybe you've always been curious about astronomy and could spend those quiet morning hours learning about constellations. Or perhaps you've wanted to understand more about history, art, or science. With today's technology, you have access to incredible educational resources right at your fingertips. I know a retired engineer named Tom who started using his early morning hours to learn Spanish because he and his wife were planning to travel to South America. He began with simple language apps on his phone, but soon found himself so engaged that he was reading Spanish literature and watching Spanish films. What started as a practical goal for travel became a passionate hobby that opened up an entire new world of culture and understanding for him. Online courses, podcasts, documentaries, and educational YouTube channels can transform those quiet hours into personal enrichment time. You might discover a passion for cooking techniques from different cultures, learn about gardening and sustainable living, or dive deep into topics like philosophy, psychology, or even quantum physics. The beauty is that you can learn at your own pace, pause when you need to reflect, and revisit concepts as often as you like. Another wonderful aspect of learning during these peaceful hours is that your mind is often at its clearest and most receptive. Without the distractions and interruptions of daily life, you can really focus and absorb information deeply. Many people find that they retain information better during these quiet periods because they can give their full attention to what they're learning. You might also consider learning practical skills that can enhance your daily life, perhaps photography, computer skills, or even home maintenance techniques. These skills not only provide mental stimulation, but also give you a sense of accomplishment and independence. The act of mastering something new at any age is incredibly empowering and can boost your confidence in other areas of life as well. The wonderful thing about becoming a lifelong learner is that it keeps your mind active and engaged, provides endless topics for conversation with others, and can lead to new friendships and communities of people who share your interests. One of the most profound ways to use these extra waking hours is to cultivate a deeper sense of inner peace and spiritual connection through meditation and mindfulness practices. Now, I know what you might be thinking. Meditation might seem a bit intimidating or perhaps too new age for your taste. But let me tell you, meditation at its core is simply about finding moments of stillness and presence, and it can be one of the most comforting and grounding practices you'll ever discover. Those quiet hours when you're naturally awake are absolutely perfect for this kind of inner work. Your mind tends to be calmer during these times, without the rush and mental chatter that often fills our days. You don't need any special equipment or training. You can start simply by sitting comfortably and focusing on your breath for just 5 or 10 minutes. It's remarkable how this simple practice can bring such a sense of calm and clarity to your entire day. I remember meeting Eleanor, a 72-year-old retired teacher who had been struggling with anxiety about her health and the changes that come with aging. She started using her early morning wake-up time for simple breathing exercises and gentle meditation. She'd sit in her favorite armchair with a warm blanket, close her eyes, and just breathe deeply while focusing on the sensation of air entering and leaving her lungs. Within a few weeks, she noticed that she felt more centered and less anxious throughout the day. She told me that these quiet moments became like a daily gift she gave herself, a time to reconnect with her inner wisdom and find peace. You might also find that these peaceful hours are perfect for prayer or spiritual reflection, regardless of your particular faith tradition. There's something deeply nourishing about having uninterrupted time to connect with whatever spiritual beliefs bring you comfort and meaning. Some people find that reading inspirational texts, practicing gratitude, or simply sitting in quiet contemplation helps them feel more grounded and purposeful. The beauty of meditation and mindfulness is that they can take many forms. You might try guided meditations using apps or online resources, or you could simply practice being fully present while sipping your morning tea or coffee. Some people find walking meditation wonderful, slowly pacing through their home or garden while focusing on each step and breath. Others prefer sitting quietly and observing their thoughts without judgment, like watching clouds pass by in the sky. The key is to approach these practices with gentleness and patience. You're not trying to achieve anything specific or stop your thoughts completely. You're simply creating space for stillness and presence. Over time, many people find that these practices help them feel more resilient, peaceful, and connected to what truly matters in life. Another incredibly valuable way to use these extra hours is to engage in what I like to call life organizing, not just physical organization, but also the deeper work of reflecting on your life experiences and creating order and meaning from all you've lived through. This isn't about massive decluttering projects that exhaust you, but rather gentle, thoughtful activities that help you create more harmony in your environment and your memories. You might start by organizing photos, not all at once, but perhaps spending 30 minutes here and there, sorting through digital photos or old photo albums. As you do this, you'll likely find yourself remembering wonderful moments and people who have been important in your life. This process can be incredibly healing and meaningful, helping you reconnect with the richness of your experiences. Consider creating memory books or journals during these quiet hours. You could write down family stories, record your thoughts about significant life events, or even create a gratitude journal where you reflect on the good things in your life. I know a gentleman named Frank who started using his early morning time to write letters to his grandchildren, not to send immediately, but to save for them when they're older. He wrote about his childhood, the lessons he'd learned, and the hopes he had for their futures. He told me it became one of the most meaningful projects of his retirement. You might also use this time for gentle home organization, not overwhelming projects, but small manageable tasks that help create more peace and order in your living space. Maybe it's organizing one drawer at a time, or going through books to decide which ones to keep and which to donate. These activities can be surprisingly therapeutic and give you a sense of accomplishment and control over your environment. The wonderful thing about this kind of life organizing is that it helps you process your experiences and create a sense of completion and continuity. You're not just getting rid of clutter, you're honoring your history while creating space for whatever comes next in your life journey. Now let me share with you something that might surprise you. Those extra waking hours are absolutely magical for connecting with nature and creating peaceful environments in your home. Even if you're not someone who considers themselves particularly outdoorsy, there's something profoundly healing about using quiet morning or evening hours to appreciate the natural world around you. If you're awake during the early morning hours, you have the incredible opportunity to witness the world waking up. Step outside onto your porch or by a window and simply observe the way light gradually fills the sky. Listen to the birds beginning their morning songs, or watch the way dew sparkles on grass and leaves. There's something deeply restorative about being present for these daily miracles that most people miss because they're still sleeping. I'll never forget talking to Margaret, a 65-year-old who had been frustrated with her changing sleep patterns until she discovered the joy of early morning garden time. She started going outside around 5:30 a.m. with her coffee, just to sit on her back porch and watch her garden come alive. She began to notice which flowers opened first, which birds visited her feeders, and how the changing seasons painted different pictures in her backyard. Eventually, she started tending to her plants during these peaceful hours, watering deadheading flowers and planting new seedlings. She told me that this time became so precious to her that she actually felt grateful for her sleep changes, because they led her to this wonderful new ritual. Even if you don't have a garden, you can bring nature indoors by using these quiet hours to tend to houseplants, arrange flowers, or create natural displays with stones, shells, or branches you've collected. There's something incredibly soothing about working with natural materials and creating beauty in your living space. You might spend time repotting plants, starting an herb garden on your windowsill, or simply sitting quietly with your plants and appreciating their presence. Another beautiful way to connect with nature during these hours is through what I call weather watching. Instead of checking the weather forecast on your phone, step outside and actually experience the weather with your senses. Feel the temperature on your skin, notice the direction of the wind, observe the cloud formations, and listen to the sounds around you. This practice can be incredibly grounding and help you feel more connected to the natural rhythms of the world. You might also use this time to create nature-inspired spaces in your home. Arrange a corner with natural elements that bring you peace. Perhaps a small fountain, some beautiful stones, driftwood, or seasonal decorations made from things you've found outdoors. The process of creating these peaceful spaces can be just as therapeutic as enjoying them, and you'll have beautiful reminders of nature's beauty throughout your home. The wonderful thing about connecting with nature during these quiet hours is that it often brings a sense of perspective and peace that can carry you through the rest of your day. When you start your day by appreciating the beauty and wonder of the natural world, everyday stresses often seem less overwhelming. Here's something that might really excite you. Those extra waking hours are perfect for what I like to call dreaming and planning time. This isn't about creating stressful to-do lists or worrying about the future, but rather about giving yourself permission to imagine, hope, and plan for experiences and goals that light you up with excitement. Think about it. When was the last time you had quiet, uninterrupted time to really think about what you want to do with this wonderful stage of your life? Those peaceful hours when your mind is clear and the world is quiet are absolutely perfect for envisioning the experiences you'd love to have, the places you'd like to visit, or the ways you'd like to contribute to the world. You might spend time researching destinations you've always wanted to visit, looking at photos, reading about different cultures, and planning dream trips. Even if you're not sure you'll ever take these trips, the process of planning and dreaming can be incredibly energizing and give you something wonderful to look forward to. I know a couple, Bill and Susan, who started using their early morning hours to plan what they called their adventure list, experiences they wanted to have together. They researched everything from scenic train rides to cooking classes to volunteer opportunities. Some of these dreams became reality and others remained beautiful possibilities, but the planning process itself brought them so much joy and excitement. This is also perfect time to think about goals that aren't necessarily about travel or big adventures. Maybe you'd like to learn a new skill, reconnect with old friends, start a small business, or find ways to share your knowledge and experience with others. Use these quiet hours to research possibilities, make connections, and take small steps toward the things that excite you. The key is to approach this dreaming and planning time with a sense of possibility and joy rather than pressure. You're not trying to create a rigid schedule or put pressure on yourself to achieve everything. You're simply giving yourself permission to imagine and hope and plan for experiences that would bring you happiness and fulfillment. As we wrap up our conversation today, I want you to remember something really important. Those hours when you find yourself awake, alert, and wondering what to do with this extra time aren't a problem to be solved. They're actually a gift, an opportunity to enrich your life in ways you might never have imagined. Whether you choose to move your body gently, explore your creativity, deepen your relationships, expand your learning, find inner peace, organize your life's memories, connect with nature, or dream about future adventures, you're taking control of your experience and making it meaningful. The beautiful truth is that this stage of life offers you something precious that many younger people don't have: the wisdom to know what truly matters and the freedom to pursue it. You don't have to do all of these things, and you certainly don't have to do them perfectly. Pick what resonates with you, what brings you joy, and what makes you feel more alive and connected to the world around you. Your sleep patterns may have changed, but your capacity for growth, joy, and meaningful experiences hasn't diminished one bit. In fact, it may have deepened. So instead of lying there frustrated the next time you find yourself wide awake, remember that you have wonderful options for making those hours truly special. I'd love to hear from you in the comments. What resonates most with you from our conversation today? Have you tried any of these approaches, or do you have other wonderful ways you've discovered to make the most of those extra waking hours? Your experiences could inspire someone else who's struggling with similar changes. If you found this helpful, please give this video a like and consider subscribing for more conversations about making the most of this beautiful stage of life. Until next time, embrace those quiet moments and remember, you have so much wisdom and possibility ahead of you.